So everyone in here is for presidents, VPs, and secretaries, right? All right. Anyone not in those three roles? Darn, I was hoping to pick on someone. All right. So you guys ready? Let's do it. I gave them a really, really cool introduction for me, and apparently I don't have one given it. So let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Steve Feld. I've been a member of Maverick Toastmasters for just a hair over 3 years. Did everyone leave who's teaching Pathways? Okay. I am on the legacy program. I have completed all the modules. I'm just finishing up my mentoring. That is all I have left. So next year, next month, I have to actually open up Pathways. So my knowledge on Pathways is this much. I've been teaching it. But everything I'm going to show you about Pathways, I do understand and know. I am very close and hopefully get that next 2 months here. So session is, we are actually going to cover the roles, responsibilities of those three positions and your part in the executive committee at a very high level. And we're going to talk about some voting here soon. So how many of you, by show of hands, there is the president? All right, for everyone else, raise a hand and wave at him, going, hello, Mr. President. Because who runs the club?
Everyone else.
The president. They are it. I'm going to refer to as herding cats. And I know VPEs are going to have a little issue with that one. But the role of the president is herding cats. Let me explain what that means. What is your big role? Who sets the tone for the club? The president. Why? Who gets to speak at every single meeting? President. What a great learning opportunity, right? So if you have those fears, why not be the president? And that'll go away real fast because you're going to have to get up there and talk. But you're also setting the tone. You have to lead by example as well. Another thing, you're going to be providing the leadership to the EC, the executive committee, and to other club members. Here's where I'm saying herding cats comes into play. The leadership skills that you develop as a president, the organizational skills, can that be transferred in your everyday life? Yeah. Will that grow you as a person outside of Toastmasters? Absolutely. I've yet to see one president that comes in and leaves the same person. I've always seen them advance. Their leadership style has improved. Their confidence has improved. Their organizational ability has improved. Dealing with conflict has improved. How many of you as presidents have ever had that conflicting situation yet? Oh, for those of you who haven't, hopefully it never comes up. But when it does, who has to handle it? President. Thank you. This is an interactive session. Do you have to coach people? Yes. Are there times when one of your executive committee members is kind of, I'm going to say, falling short? Whose responsibility is it to take them off to the side and have that chat? The president. What about a club member not showing up? President. There we go. You see in the roles? But who does actually some of the least amount of work outside the club? The president. The president. You're all with me on that. You can tell I like the president's role. Leading by example. If you show up late, what message are you sending to your members?
They can show up late.
They can show up late. If you're belligerent in the meetings, what is that sending? They can be belligerent. Why not? Hey, we can heckle each other. The president's doing it. You need to lead by example. Another case of leading by example is TLI, right? Who should be the first person to sign up?
The president.
Thank you. How do they get the rest to sign up? Who's with me? I'm going on this session. Can we carpool? I did that, and they're like, well, I don't know. I got to check my calendar. Open up your calendars right now. And they all looked at me like, are you kidding? No. Well, do we have to do this? Well, If you want to look at it like that, or do you want to learn something to better yourself in your everyday lives? Didn't you want to have that promotion at work? Well, yeah. Don't you think what you'll learn at TLI and from the other people that go can help you in that position? Yeah. Then go. And I'm picking you up at. That's how to do it. Okay. Leadership style. Oh, we've seen a lot of leadership styles. How many of you have been area directors, division directors? Yeah. Do we see quite a few different styles out there? Oh, yeah. Okay. Here's the thing about being the president. It's not your place to be the dictator. That's not what the role is. It's not your way or the highway kind of mentality. And there are presidents out there that do that. So how are you going to, what is your leadership style conveying out? Are you going to use this with questions and use this a lot? And then you have to do this, implement. You need to dictate out, not dictate this way, dictate, assign, get them on board, use their strengths and skills. That will help you as the president have a great year. Really, really will. Your attitude of excellence, just like I was telling about showing up for TLI. How you present that to the group is very, very important. How many of you have had problems like maybe like members not being part of contests? Judges. Whose job is it to really get behind all that, to push for it?
The president.
Thank you. He is not a plant. But it's your attitude on how you present things, and that will evolve over time in your presidency. That will grow you as a person as well. All of a sudden, you're going to see even people at your workplace start looking at you differently. Like, why are you saying things differently? Why are you, your attitude is different. It's more up. Toastmasters really does help with that. Okay, this one's pretty sad. Whose job is it to be Distinguished Club?
The president.
You got it. So what happens if you get in there and you start realizing you're not going to be a Distinguished Club? What are some things that you can put into place to be it? Is it the end of the world? No. Is someone from Toastmasters coming down and going to give it to you? No. Who's going to really give it to you? Probably your VPE, because they're working hard on their side. You can control certain things. They can control certain things. This is where your PR person, membership people, you need to rally them. Come up with a plan. We're going to talk about that a little bit more too. All right. Who really presides over the meetings? That's a trick question. Toastmaster. Okay. But who's behind the Toastmaster if something is not going right? It goes a little off kilter. Who needs to step up?
President.
President. So really, who does proceed over the meetings? President, even though it is Toastmaster. I agree. Okay, earning Distinguished Toastmaster. Club. That is your role as a president. It should be forefront. What are you doing to move the club that way? Now, there are many clubs out there that really don't care about it, right? That's the club. But most clubs do love that recognition. It is advancing them as members in their personal lives as well. So why not go for it? We all learn from it. But that is your job. You're going to lead the meetings, right? Who's in charge of the executive committee? President. You're going to have to guide those members that fall off. Maybe someone's having some personal problems. Guess what? Is that your responsibility as the president to get involved?
No.
It really isn't. But what happens if they come to you and they just need someone to talk to? Because you are the president. Take the time. Help them out. Someone helped you probably in the past with those situations. Help back. Do it in the right way. I've seen that happen in many clubs where people go, that's not my job. Go talk to someone else. That member goes away. But they're also probably going to bring 2 to 3 with them because of the way your attitude was to that individual. Okay. You're going to lead and guide the executive committee. This is where I say herding cats. But that is your baby. You're going to be running it. But you need the input of all your EC members. Without them, guess what? Who's going to fall? Who's going to fail?
The president.
Thank you. Okay. Attend area council meetings, business meetings. How many of you have been to the district business meetings? Are they fun? All right, everyone's hand went right down. Okay. We're going to move on that one. Okay, executive committee. Yes, this is your baby. You need to get the input from all your committee members, develop the agenda. This is where you're going to develop your leadership styles. If you don't already have it, it will evolve no matter what it is. Your organizational ability will evolve in this role. That's the beauty of it. Your listening skills, your coaching, mentoring skills will improve. When people say, I don't want to be the president, you're going to grow more as a person than anyone else in the club because of all the training you're going to get, all the access you're going to have. Do you have to watch, make sure that your committee is doing what they're supposed to do? Yes. You're holding them accountable. It's part of the job. Okay. Who creates the budget? They're not here. We could talk about them. The treasurer. But it's your job to make sure there's a club budget and it gets voted on. How many of you've done a club success plan? Oh my gosh, that thing's huge. It is huge. Could you do that by yourself? No way. This is where you need to enlist and rally the troops to help you complete that. Now, is it very beneficial for you to be Distinguished Club by using a success plan? Oh yeah. It's your guide.
There's a typo.
Oh, I'm sure. Wait, there's more. Thank you, though. There's one I saw earlier. I'm like, well, it's a lot too late to change it right now. Okay, strategy. We just kind of hit that one. Okay, when other committees pop up, does anyone in their club have outside committees, maybe PR? A mentoring committee added on. President needs to be involved in those committees. By being involved in other committees, even the PR committee, why would you be involved in something like that? What's your main goal as president? Distinguished club. What's essential to bring members in for many of the pieces of Distinguished Club? PR, right? If they're not coming to the meetings, how are you going to sign them up? Period. If no one shows up, you can't sign anyone up new. You need the PR out there to draw them in. Then you bring in your membership and your VPE to hook them with the president. President's key in this one to get them to join the club. Don't force them. Give them the reasons why. Okay, you guys are all here attending the training. Hopefully you guys are going to get a lot out of the training. I've always gained a lot of knowledge, but where I've gained the most knowledge is from other people in the crowd. Reading materials, are there some materials? There's a lot out there. You got to really pick and choose, but by calling up another president of a club and bouncing scenarios off of them may really help your success in your own club. This one was great. For those of you who have never met with your outgoing committee, not just the president, meet with the whole outgoing committee. Get their vibe. Find out what they never got to complete and how it's going to help you succeed. Find out what some of their challenges were. You don't know. You were not part of it, maybe. If you were, you already know it. Meet with the outgoing president. That's crucial. They're going to tell you a whole lot of secrets, right? You hope. Unless you have one of those presidents like, I'm done, see ya, and they're out of here. Okay. All right, VPEs, please stand. All right, okay, for everyone else, here's what you should do. Raise your hands up like we're on a roller coaster. Yeah, and go, we're not worthy, we're not worthy. Thank you. Why? Who really runs the club? The VPE. Not really, but without a strong VPE, can the president be very successful? No. Can the club be successful? Will members be successful on their paths? No. Very crucial role. I say it's the hardest role out of all the ECs, hands down. And if anyone would like to challenge me on that, they're probably brand new in Toastmasters. So VP role. You have to schedule all those people to speak. Oh, yeah, and then rotate them. And then, oh, I'm sick that night. Oh, I can't make it this night. Talk about a juggling act. That's why I said we're not worthy. Right there, just that alone is a lot of work. Serve as a resource. Is it easier to go to the VPE to find out about educational awards, or is it easier to go to Toastmaster International site? VPE. Yeah, you're right there. I'm going to ask you. Speech contest. Who's really behind all that? VPE. They're knowledgeable on the rules, the regulations, but who's also behind them on that? This is the president. Okay. Mentoring. Who assigns mentors? VPE. Who's very heavily involved, for those of you who are just in the pathway session. VPE does a lot. They're the most knowledgeable person probably about Toastmasters. I always say if you want to really gain some grasping of knowledge of how this organization works and how you can translate that into your daily activities, be the VPE. Your organizational skills will elevate to heights unknown. Your communication skills will definitely change a lot because you're going to have to I could talk to you directly, but with you I can add some fluff. It depends. VPE has to have those conversations about, hey, you're not moving forward on your path, right? They're going to have that conversation. Then the president. Maybe the president first. Depends how you work with it. Yes?
There's an alternate definition of those initials, VPE. Vice President of everything.
I like that. Who has to be the most knowledgeable person about pathways? And they can start forgetting about legacy here very soon. VPE. All right. So they do more than just be there at the club, right? They have responsibilities before, during, and after the meetings. First thing, they're the ones who schedule the roles. How many VPs out there have a challenge, we'll say, of scheduling the roles? Probably number one challenge, right? There's ways around it. You get voluntold. You have a matrix, maybe so many weeks out, and assign them. That's one way. But that is a giant challenge for VPEs. It is assigning the roles. So we talked about who really runs the meeting as Toastmasters, but wait, who's right behind them? VPE. Why is that? To make sure everyone is in attendance. Everyone's going to fulfill their roles. Education sessions. This I see a lot of clubs are not taking advantage of. The VP should throw in an educational session every now and then. It could be on something like pathways, base camp, something that's going to help you as a member and being more engaged. And then there can be at things like leadership development. And you can use the members in the club or even outside members to come on in to speak to your club. That's the VPE's role. All right. Notifying the club of any awards. Who really does tell the club about the awards? Depends on the club. So it could be VPE. President usually acknowledges them at the meeting, but the VP is the one who's behind the scenes and lets the member know, hey, you've been awarded this. All right. When you're at the meeting, making sure everyone is prepared. Why is that? Anyone? Yeah, so, I forgot my evaluation sheet. Oh. Who has to handle that at that moment? It's not the Toastmaster. It's VPE. I know that never happens. Everyone brings all their stuff. I get it. Okay, you got to remind people, I've seen this happen at clubs. Don't forget you're evaluating. On what? Yeah. Wait, no. Yes, you're evaluating. I have you on the schedule. Okay, you're going to assist the Toastmaster. Boy, they have a lot with the Toastmasters. Why is it important for the VP to greet guests, be engaged with the guests? This one's a good one because we've been talking about it. It's actually a couple slides ago. Sign them up. Who's going to have to work with the new member? Yeah, they might have to deal with them too. Work with the new member on getting them signed up on Pathways. If you were brand new in a club and the VP approached you and you got to know, hey, this is the person. Then when you did sign up, they reached out. Do you have kind of a connection? A little bit of rapport going? Do you feel a little bit better? Yeah. If they just come out of the blue and you're like, wait, what happened to the person I met earlier? It's kind of awkward. Think of it from their point of view. All right. During the club, are you busy? Yes, you could be. Why is that? Why do you get to preside over meetings when necessary? What would be the case? The president's not there. You're number 2. How cool is that? Take it how you want on that one. Okay. Yeah. You're going to answer a lot of questions about what path have you on. Okay, let me rephrase this. VPs, has a member ever come up to you and go, what path am I on? Okay, you're all shaking your head, yes. That happens a lot. Contests. When you have a contest chair in there, who are they going to really rely upon? The VPE. Why? VPE has that knowledge. Oh, I know this one never happens in any of your clubs. Well, didn't you give that speech last month? Why haven't you completed it in Pathways yet? Oh, I was going to get around to it. This is where the VPE needs to have that little motherly tough love on them. Let's get in there and get that completed. Why is that important? Distinguished club. That could be a determining factor if they're not turning that in time. So they have to be making sure everyone's filling out their awards. Plus, if you've never had that member going, where's my award for this? I know that's never happened either. It's because they didn't fill it out in Pathways saying completed. Okay, recognizing new members for their achievements. They might do it, or the president. Depends how your club wants to do it. Usually the VPE will be awarding that out most times. Okay, you're going to always be planning those club meetings because they just keep on coming. How many of you have weekly meetings? Oh yeah, so they're just, you get done with one and you're already on to the next one. It's like Saturday Night Live, right? You got to promote educational programs because how many times when members or new executive council members are not involved in TLI? Who's the one who really has to get on? Might want to nudge the president on, you need to talk to so-and-so about that. But they're the ones who know who needs to go. They're keeping an eye on that distinguished club, and you're affecting them. That's their side of it. Orient new members. This is great because they already built that relationship with that new member when they came in in the club. And then who really does encourage them quite a bit to being part of the club? It's a VPE because they're kind of mentoring them, right? Just telling them the roles. Why is that important? And getting them involved right away. Great, you're brand new. Great, you're going to be the odd counter. What's an odd counter? And if I hear, read this and you'll be fine, please, give them a little coaching on it. It helps them. Remember all of our first times being odd counter? To this day. Yeah, that's when I look at the VP, like, I can't click. Can't ring a bell. Okay, you can assign a mentor if you have mentorship programs. Attend all the executive club meetings. Why? You're going to probably take up the biggest chunk of the executive club meeting or executive committee meeting. You have a lot to say, and everything you're saying is moving the club towards distinguished club. That's your role. District council meetings, lots of fun. They are. I'm not being sarcastic. Arrange for your replacement. You're thinking, wait a minute, we're talking about the role, and I'm already talking about moving yourself out of the role. Why do you think that is?
Because we're not around.
Well, they all see how hard you work. Who wants that role? It's one of the harder roles to fill. It really is, because they're like, they work hard. I'm not doing that. This is where you need to start grooming someone, because that's a lot of knowledge you need to transfer. Unless you want to be VPE for the next year. You're crazy. Prepare your successor for it. Okay, executive committee, we kind of talked about that. You're going to definitely be covering the educational reports. Who's going where? Where are they at in their paths? How close are we getting to those goals? Speech contest. You're going to recruit that chair. Because do you want to do it? No. Unless you really do want to do it on top of being VPE. You're going to find a committee chair to oversee the speech committees, or the speech contests. Okay, getting started, same thing as a president. Meet with the outgoing committee. Meet with the outgoing VPE. Are you going to read all those materials on Toastmaster International? Okay, well, that answered that. Everyone gave me this look, like, all at the same time. Should have had a camera up here. We covered all this. Let's get through. Secretary. How many secretaries do we have here? All right. This is going to be the funnest one. Why? Because you're not the VPE. All right. Maintaining all club records. Hopefully, and you pray for this, that the outgoing secretary has those. Otherwise, you have to look for them and hunt and find. And I know that never happens in the secretary role. Who manages all the club files? Secretary. What are club files? Applications. What else? Meeting notes, minutes. It's all part of it. What about attendance? Absolutely. What about when you have to send something to Toastmaster? Updating officers. You need to track all that. Handling club correspondence. What I mean by that is the information that comes from international. It may come down, and we're going to talk about this in a couple minutes. It may come down, it's the secretary's role to take care of. Updating club officers, sending in reports, maybe submitting minutes, whatever it may be. Okay, taking minutes at the clubs and the executive meetings. Why is that important? For the secretaries. It's not important? Okay, VPs want to answer.
Well, then if you want to refer to something from a previous meeting, you can go to the notes and you can see what took place, what was discussed, what was voted on, who was there.
Absolutely. I know this has never happened. I've talked to many presidents that they're in an executive committee meeting and they get in an argument of something that everyone thought took place months ago. Meanwhile, the secretary is just sitting there flipping through a notebook going, here's what we did. Ended that argument in a heartbeat. That's one of the key things for it. Are we all on the same page? Those kind of things. So it's very, very crucial, especially in the executive committees. Okay. Report new officers. You're the one that gets to upload all that information. Okay. Getting started. Same things. Meet with the outgoing officers. Meet with the outgoing secretary. I know you're not going to read the materials. We already covered that. All right. We're going to do a little breakout session. So what I'd like you to do is look it around, get in groups of about 7. I'm going to give you a couple minutes for that. And once you're in the groups of 7, we're going to do our breakout session. So go. As fast as you guys can. Oops. Didn't even do it. And just go ahead and get in the seat because we are going to be doing something here for a minute. Okay, y'all got your groups? Yeah, and just one for each. So I'll tell you when in a second. All right, you guys got your groups? Go ahead and have a seat. If you like, you can face each other. If you want to stand, hey, that works too. Okay, we got your groups. Now the first thing we're going to do, I want you all to eyeball each other. Give it that one-eyed willy, like you're in a poker contest in the Wild West. Give them the one eye. Eyeball your members. Because here's what you're going to do. On the count of 3, you're going to point to the person you want as the spokesperson. Whoever has the most fingers pointing at them is the spokesperson of that group. So y'all have it? 1, 2, 3. All right. All right. Okay, does everyone have their spokesperson? All right, if I can have your attention. Okay, spokespeople, raise your hands. Hanley is going to give you a scenario. It could be one of the 3 roles. You can give them 2 scenarios. How's that?
So whatever I want.
Whatever you want. You mix them up. You're going to work on this as a group. Let's see how we're looking on time. For 15 minutes. At the end of 15 minutes, we're going to call on the spokesperson to give a report, tell us the scenario, and what your group decided how to resolve the scenario. And think of it like a table topic. Speak for at least 1 minute and no more than 2. Okay? All right. As soon as you get your scenarios, go ahead and start. If you have questions, let us know. I'm putting on the time.
It is difficult to find time to create a good overall schedule.
All right, everyone, let's bring it on back in. You can stay seated right where you're at in your little groups. For those of you who are standing, you might want to sit down. All right, we're going to start with the people who are in the front, because I heard them the most. And who's your spokesperson from this group? All right, stand up. Yeah, if you like, stand up, tell everyone the scenario and what your group decided what the resolution was.
Hi guys, my name's Calvin, and I'm a Toastmaster.
Here.
So, one of our goals was to see what are some of the strategies that we incorporate into a Toastmaster for members. Let me make sure I read this for everybody. What are some of the best practices and strategies that most successful club consistently do to help them achieve distinguished club status or better? One of our takeaway was to communicate often, communicate, sending out emails, getting them, the members involved, letting them know about TLI. A lot of club officers here know about TLI. But getting the members to say, hey, there's a TLI coming up, sign up for it. With our club, everything that we do is sponsored by our leadership team. So we get it free. So getting them to know, hey, there's a TLI coming up, come on and join the fun. And it helps them prepare for it as well. And hopefully, once our time is up as officers, they can step in for us. And then also going to TLI, of course, that's one of the main things to be a distinguished club officers, a distinguished club. And then coaching as well. Getting input from the past, like you mentioned, getting all the members, all the new members, understanding what the old was having issues with, and then understanding, hey, how we can improve upon that. That's it.
Great. Let's give Calvin a big hand. All right. All right, how about this group right over here? There you go.
I'm Michelle, I'm with Leaders Plus Toastmasters in Mesa, and our first role that we discussed was for the secretary, what actions can you do to help your club and other clubs achieve distinguished club status or better? And I think the first point and the main point is that the secretary needs to act as a mother hen or a liaison amongst all the other members and the other officers. They can do a lot of things to help the club, like helping the Vice President of Education on base camp with tracking all for the educational goals, making sure that the club success plan gets submitted, and as far as helping the president fill it out and all of the pieces of that plan that need to be put together, working with all of the other people that are going to be contributing to it. Another thing that they can do is to make sure that the membership forms get entered so that you meet those membership goals for a distinguished club. The other one that we were given was for the VPE, and this was, it said members are not always willing to commit to meeting roles. So what do you do about that? How many of you in here use Free Toast Host? Great. That's been a really great way for a lot of clubs to make sure that the membership signs up for the functionary roles. Our VPE in our club sends out an email with the agenda several days before each meeting. So if there are open functionary roles, they can sign up for them very easily and they'll know what's open. Another thing we can do is pass around a sign-up sheet at every meeting to help bring those members in and get them to commit right there on the spot. And then lastly, if you have a meeting where it's maybe things have fallen apart a little bit, people got sick, they can't show up, the VPE can stand at the door, and as people walk in, they can voluntold them, you're doing this tonight, you're doing this tonight. Or if you need people to double up, go around and recruit them to do that. So those are the two scenarios that we were given, and I thank you for your time.
Great. Clearly, this group is the overachiever club. Because they did both. We'll just do one. But that was great. All right, how about this group?
I'm Tina Ziegler, and I work in the Toastmasters Club with Evening Toastmasters. And our question, our first question was, what should be in the executive committee minutes, and what should be left out? So we actually had to spend a lot of time on what should be in the minutes. So things that should be in your minutes at the executive level is new and old business, recording votes, maybe perhaps documenting the accomplishments that you might have experienced in the past quarter or month. You don't know how many times you meet as a group. Decisions made at the meeting, what worked, what could be improved upon, new ideas, a treasurer's report, the number of new members that have joined the club, the number of guests.
Great. Great, let's give it a hit. I threw in that last part, what should not be in the report. I'm glad you didn't come up with it. If two EC members are having a little, not seeing eye to eye, should that be in the report? No. Hopefully the president is the one getting in the middle of it, and let's end it and let's move on, because it's your time too. Right. How about back there? You can say from back there if you like, just stand up. We're Toastmasters.
Mike Jansen, I'm a member of Paradise Valley Toastmasters. I'm the VPE. Our question was, it is difficult to find the time to create a good workable club schedule that keeps all members happy and moving forward in the Toastmasters education program. How are you going to handle this? There are different ways to do the schedule. My club, we use Free Toast Host. There are others that just use a pre-made schedule that they used. But some of the keys we agreed on is having some format for your schedule ahead of time that people can either sign up or be volunteered for. Some of the clubs use a volunteer method, allow the people to sign up, pass around a sign-up sheet, or allow them to sign up on the website. Some of the clubs actually have it where they just list out who's going to be the Toastmaster, and they just rotate through that, and then the Toastmaster has a responsibility to fill the rest of the roles. Point being is that you always have those pre-created to the best of your ability, and then make sure that you let folks know ahead of time, a reminder as to what their roles are so that make sure they can be prepared. You're always going to have fallout. Somebody can't make it that morning, or there's a role that didn't get signed up for, and in most cases, we'll assign that in the morning of trying to find somebody that doesn't have another role in order to allow them. One of the things that we talked about is to keep moving forward is making sure that people are moving forward in the speaking. And again, our club now is very robust, and our struggle is not enough speaking slots. So we have to manage that a little bit, and we're going to make some adjustments going forward to allow for more speaking slots. And in other cases, you may have it where it's tough to get enough people to speak at a meeting, or you don't have enough members to keep it flowing, and that becomes a little bit more of a challenge trying to keep people on track and moving through. But the key is just to make sure that you are encouraging those people to continue and to figure out how to allow them time on the schedule.
Great, excellent. I really liked how you outlined there's so many different ways to fill the schedule. And for those of you who are not using Toast, talk to a VPE who is. It's a game changer, is it not, for those of you who are using it? Yeah. All right, group in the back.
Hi, I'm Charles Schreiber. I'm the president of Blue Expressions Toastmaster. We got the role of president, and we have a club member's religion controlling and otherwise causing trouble at meetings. How are we going to handle this? First thing is we have to know the rules first. That's the primary thing. And then second, we're going to pull the person aside and talk to them. And that sounds kind of talking down to them, but that's not the approach that we would take. What we would say is, the point of Toastmasters is to be supportive and encouraging to all members. And that we've kind of received feedback that it's not really trending to that being supportive and safe for people to speak, and asking the person how they can help be more supportive and actually helpful in the meetings. And we try and get some buy-in. If they're not, then the next step would be is to talk amongst the executive members, because they've probably already known and how we want to proceed at that point. Obviously, if it continues, then hopefully you've already followed the rules, you've voted your people in, and then you can turn around and vote that person out eventually. So that way you're following the rules. The next role was secretary.
Oh, we'll just do one for time.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. All right, give him a hand. All right. He's ready to go. Do it. Just one.
Well, we're overachievers, and the two roles collide. The first role was the president role, and the question was, the secretary has a hard time keeping all the notes together. How do we work with the secretaries that they can fill out the roles and still participate in the meeting? And the second one was identify the role of the secretary. So I'm just going to combine the two. So for the secretary to be able to participate, we would create a template, and I don't know if this is a common practice, but we have a template put together so that whenever the role with the sheet with the role is put together, the secretary prior to the meeting fills out all that information. Then if she still feels overwhelmed or he feels overwhelmed, then we assign a backup to the secretary so that they can interact in the meeting. Then we were also talking about having the meeting notes put into OneNote, which is a shared application, easy to maintain, easy to track, and collect all that information and put it into OneNote. And as for the roles of the secretary, they would also collect the action items when it comes to the officers meeting, store all the files, update the officer list, and make everybody read the material.
Great. Excellent. Give him a hand. All right. We have a few more points to get through. I'm calling this my pathways section since I'm supposed to talk to you about pathways. So pathways for officers. How easy is that? That should be Toastmaster International, not TLI. But what communicate with the clubs? Anyone know? Give you a hint. Email. It goes to how many emails? One. Should the president be the only one who gets that email? No. What should happen? One recommended thing that I've actually reached out to VPEs about this is many of them have a Gmail account, and usually everyone on the EC has access to it. Now, what do you do with these emails? It's up to the president and the executive committee how to handle the emails that are coming in. For example, if it is going to something, say, hey, we have some changes in Toastmasters International, who should be the one talking about it at the club? President. So they take the role and act on it. If it's something about club contest coming in, who takes it? VPE. And then they act upon it. So set up some kind of procedure on how you're going to take care of these things. And then approving a mentor in pathways. For those of you who were just in that pathways session earlier, when a member completes a path, club gets an email. Great, they word on it, bless you. If the member is only a member of one club, it's a no-brainer. Prove it for that club. But if that member is a member of multiple clubs, it is up to the VPE to talk to the member which club gets the assignment. Telephone. So double check on that. Is it easy to change if you made an oops? I know you all want the credit, but find out which club really does get the credit. All right, that was it on pathways. Yes?
How about if a person moves from one club to the other and take your stuff with you?
It's the member's credit. It's the member's accomplishment. So they choose which club, if they're in multiple clubs. The member chooses, not the club. You know, just honor the member's wishes.
But once it's assigned, it stays assigned.
Oh, yeah.
It
if
stays
it's already-
assigned.
If it went into
That
the
is-
system and it's locked down, then if they move to another club, it doesn't change anything.
All right. How many of you ever voted? All right, really vote. Okay. Who can vote for district council? This is, shout it out.
President, VPE.
You got it, that was an easy one. Okay, who can vote for international council?
Secretary.
It's all of you in this room. Yeah.
Not the VPE. It's the president and secretary who can assign proxies.
Proxies, okay. See, pulling it out of the system. Do you have to be present to vote?
No.
Because there's that thing called a proxy. Now, does the proxy holder have to be present?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be present.
Someone's got to be present. How can a proxy be submitted?
Proxy form.
Yeah, through the website and the old school piece of paper. All right. What needs to be on there? I'm going to just pop this up because it's all that. If you do it through the website, it prompts you through it. And how do you find it? Go to Toastmaster International, proxy, submission, and it should pop. It'll be one of the many selections. Yes, sir.
Clarification.
Yep.
The electronic proxy is only for the international business meeting. For district level, it's usually a paper form or an email even
There you
works,
go.
and the district will provide those instructions.
See, I've always voted by proxy. And then I actually went to one where you got to vote. And then I realized I should not have been voting by proxy. You really want to be there to enjoy the experience. It is something. It's quite amazing. Okay, we already went through that. Can it be a proxy assigned to another member within your club? Yes. And what is a floor candidate? I heard Michael Holian talk a little bit about it.
Somebody that shows up and wants to be a official.
Yeah, I'll run for it.
Well,
But there's rules, and I actually pulled this right from Toastmaster when Michael was saying it did change. So this was actually pulled as of Tuesday. So if anything's changed since Tuesday, okay, floor candidates, they could be nominated by a member of the district council or their proxy holder. To be nominated from the floor, candidates for district director, program quality director, club growth director, and division directors must sign at the time of the floor nomination or must have previously signed the district leadership agreement and release statement. Now, if you're going for district, division director, and you have never been an area director, could you do it?
Yes?
Yep.
The area director is not a prerequisite.
There you go. That was the trick question.
Well, the other trick to that is you can't just show up at the meeting. You need to have gone to the district nominating committee and gone through the process. They may not have selected you, which is why you're now a floor candidate rather than a nominated candidate. But you can then run from the floor. This will prevent someone literally hijacking the meeting with 5 minutes notice and saying, I'm a candidate now. And it's unfair to everybody else who's been involved.
Great. Excellent. And what determines good standing? Dues. Dues. Yeah. Are you paid up? Is your club in good standing? What is the minimum requirement for members in a club for good standing? 8. 8. 3 from previous semester term. And that's it. Oh, sorry, we have one more question.
One clarifying point. I heard earlier one of the groups allude to if you vote them in, you can then vote them out. That is not true. even if your club didn't vote them in, if they become a problem later and the group decides to follow the bylaws and vote them out, that is allowed. So don't get hung up on, if I didn't vote them in, I can't do anything. You should be voting them in. That is one of the things that they say we should do.
Hey, Don,
Yeah,
does it go to membership or just officers?
any member.
Anyone?
Officers, the disciplinary procedures for officers are slightly different. But if you're trying to discipline a member or an officer, the fact that they might not have been voted in has no bearing. Just remember.
All right.
Now, we have like about a minute left, so please fill out those evaluation forms. I didn't know how they were. I said, just give me a 10 and let's call it a day. I didn't say very satisfied on it. But hey, I'm needy and I need to feel appreciated. Thank you all for coming. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your year. Have a good New Year's. Thanks, Steve.